continents, different backgrounds, different people, different accents, different religions, different way of eating, different ways of, some people eat on the floor, some people are on the table, some people have paintings on the wall, some people have carpets. So what's your lesson? Who are you after living in so many places?
Every place leaves you a mark, right? So I learned a lot about Arabic culture, I learned a lot about Chinese culture, Latin American culture. And this is something that only visiting a place for a week doesn't give you. So I was really glad to live in all those places and work with local people. And it made me be a more respectful and understanding person of the cultures I encounter these days.
Nice. Okay, let's go. Let's go and get in the water.
Let's get into the water. So this is, by the time I moved to New York, I decided this crazy idea, which some of us see it as normal these days, which is circumnavigating the Manhattan Island, which is a 28-mile swim. And I did that a year after I arrived here. And that made me start thinking about going more global, going bigger.
Wait, going around Manhattan is something normal that every year happens, and you just went there, or is this one thing in your life? Or?
So it's an annual race, and they do in several different dates. But so far, it's 1,000 people have done it.
Okay. And the payoff, if I'm not mistaken, is like I, coming from Spain and not knowing much about New York, knew that there were some bridges, 3, maybe 5, but you counted bridges and you counted 20, right?
It was 20 bridges, and it's funny, there's a movie now called 21 Bridges, because they call one bridge connecting Roosevelt Island and Queens, but it's actually 20 bridges that go around Manhattan. So if you swim under 20 bridges.
And when you go under, you do something that for you is very satisfactory.
You swim backstroke, just to look at the bridge, just to breathe for a little bit, and just to enjoy the views while you're swimming.
Okay. The 7 continents after going around Manhattan.
So after I finished the round of Manhattan, I thought to do something unique, and I called the project the Continent 7. So 7 swims, one of the most respected swims in each of the 7 continents, basically. So it couldn't be going, to Benidorm and having a short swim. That didn't count as Europe. So you had to actually do the most difficult swim in each of the 7 continents. So this was the idea and how it turned out. So each of the continents, basically with 1 month in between each of them. So I did the southern continent.
Wait, you looked at the map and you were finding the places to do it, or there's actually competitions in those places that you were
No, I came up with the idea. So I chose one of the most difficult swims, and I sort of arranged the different dates for each of the swims. So I swam in the summer of the southern hemisphere, and then in the summer of the northern hemisphere, just to benefit from those warmer waters. And the Antarctica, which there's no summer there. So.
And that was pre-shark or during the shark season?
Well, the 2 first swims in Australia and South Africa are quite known for the presence of white sharks. That's one of the lessons that we'll go through after. But sharks are, in your mind, sharks are everywhere, especially here in New York, where if you work in finance, there are sharks everywhere. So not because there are sharks, you will stop swimming.
Okay. You call them actually vida marítima, no? You don't call them sharks.
Marine life, yeah. We don't mention the word sharks.
Okay, so 7 continents, 7 challenges, and which one was the first one?
So let's move very quickly through each of the 7 continents. The first one was Australia. And just to give an idea of the challenges I faced in each of them, here's a video of what I encountered in Australia.
You have to go always with somebody, right? I mean, there's no way you can be by yourself. So how many people are surrounding you when you are doing this crazy?
Yeah, normally, if conditions permit it, there will always be a kayaker next to you. And the kayaker has your food and has your liquids, so you can always stop and have whatever you want from him, as long as you don't hold to it. So you can never hold to anything or anybody throughout the whole stream.
But the guy who's paddling there is prepared to rescue you, right? Because I go there and something happened to you, goodbye.
No.
Diego, so is that a good swimmer? Somebody not know? Is your father? Who's that?
No, it's a guy you pay to do that, but he's a paddler, he's not a swimmer. I wasn't actually, yeah, I wasn't actually aware if he knew how to swim, which got me worried at some point, because as you can see, the waves were pretty strong.
Can he feed you sardines or something?
Yeah, he's got the food. It's not sometimes. It's Gatorade and gels, whatever you like, but it's normally more liquid food.
So how many hours in Perth, Australia? How long was this thing?
So that was 25 kilometers, but we encountered very difficult conditions, as you could see. So they stopped us after 4 hours. After 4 hours swimming in those conditions, they stopped us and they said that that race was over, basically. Which it was a very big lesson for me because I was very frustrated. I wanted to reach the island, but sometimes in life you can be the most prepared person to undertake a project, but if the conditions are not right, you will never do it. So it was a big lesson for me. Luckily, I had done another swim in New Zealand, so the continent was good to go. But it was very frustrating at first not to finish that race.
So that's your first lesson on the book, right? Because I don't know if we mentioned that we presented the book today, and the book has different chapters, and the chapters go with the 7 continents. The first one is called Failure as a Part of Success, right? So this is not about how many times you fall; it's about how many times you get up.
That's right. That's right.
Okay, second continent.
Second continent was Africa, South Africa, Cape Town. There is an annual race that goes from Robben Island, where Nelson Mandela was held for 18 years, to Cape Town. Again,
Wait. When you were in the water, you have any connection with the place that you're talking about, Mandela? I mean, that's like almost a holy place for many people. So were you somehow connected with that history when you were on the water?
Sure. I mean, different people have different connections, but for me it was very nice to be there. It was the 100th anniversary. Mandela would have turned 100 years, that 2018. So it was a very special event. Everybody was really happy, and it was it's very magic waters, basically.
Well, let's talk about what you were doing there, Cape Town.
So basically, I had been in Cape Town for the first time in 2007, and I had actually dived with white sharks 100 miles from that point.
Brother sharks, you call them brother sharks, right?
Brother sharks. And so I knew that the white sharks were there, and I had seen them before. But they, as I said before, they were not going to stop me, and I was determined to make it work and to forget about the sharks and keep swimming. And it's funny because the moment you enter the water, you start seeing seals, and when you see seals, you know that there are sharks around there. So I saw seals the moment that we arrived to Robben Island. But that made me swim very fast.
Hopefully you didn't look like a seal.
I'm starting.
Might be sad to be a superhero and being alive. But anyways, how long was this thing?
That was 8 kilometers from Robben Island to Cape Town.
Okay, and you made it.
I mean,
That's nice. And what's the lesson to learn there?
learn to live with sharks.
Okay. With everybody in the world knows how to.
Yeah. Exactly. Third swim, Lake Titicaca, which basically divides Bolivia and Peru. And it's actually the highest navigable lake in the world at 4,000 meters or 12,000 feet for those
How was the water in Lake Titicaca? I'm talking about pollution. I'm talking about pollution because there's big concerns about
Yeah.
the health of that water.
Yeah, it's funny. People ask me about Manhattan. People ask me about Titicaca. I never get a vaccination. I've never been sick because of the water. I think it's more like an urban legend, to be honest. I didn't see any plastic floating. Well, the name, Titicaca may come from some stuff, but I didn't see anything floating, to my knowledge.
Okay. The problem about Titicaca for you being a swimmer is that you can double choke, right? It's not only the water that you can struggle, is the lack of air, right? I mean, breathing. It's like, how tall is that, 4,000 meters? Or
Yeah, 4,000 meters, and the water is between 12 and 13 degrees, so it's 55 Fahrenheit. So it was considerably cold that day, and as you can see, I was the only one not wearing a wetsuit, which was one of
That's
the.
because you're macho? Or
So
your wife was there and they had the pressure? Why would you do that?
That too, but one of the rules of the marathon swimming is that you never wear a wetsuit just to keep the purity.
Okay.
As you can see, those kids were normally, well, most of them were from Bolivia, so they were used to the altitude.
What about oil on the skin or some
You can
butter
apply
or
some.
stuff like that? Or?
You can apply some lanolin and some substances that would normally make you warmer. I think it's more a placebo effect, personally. I never put any lanolin or anything, just sunscreen, because I think it's more on your mind. And
Well, you don't think it works?
Not for me, at least.
Okay. You're warm enough.
So anyway, that was me right before getting into the water, and I had a disadvantage against these kids, right? So they do train all year round in 4,000 meters high. They were wearing a wetsuit for buoyancy and for against the cold. So I wanted to compete with them, but my lesson was that I had to let go and I had to follow my own path. So it was also a big.
So you were last in the competition, pretty much. Were they pushing you down?
The wrestling. No, I mean, one is always competitive, right, in nature. But so for me, it was a big lesson to lose against some of these kids. But the lesson was to learn to be content and to be within your goals.
Okay, so pretty much you did your own thing.
Yeah.
Okay, nice. And anyway, how do you finish? Because we said
Yeah.
not much air, cold.
Yeah, it was hard. It was when people ask me about the hardest of the seven, I always put Titicaca in the top two because it was super hard not to have oxygen. I was stopping very often to seek air, basically. So my wife was asking me, "Do you need water? Do you need food?" I just need to breathe, basically. So it was a hard swim.
So you end up in the ER or something, or?
I ended up in the head ship, just having an oxygen mask and some warm clothes, basically.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Next.
Very enjoyable.
Very enjoyable. I'm loving it.
I can pass you.
What's that? Superman, what's that?
That's because of the videos always stay there, but let's go through the English channel.
Our English channel. That's something that we heard about it before, right? It's something like swimmers love it, no? The English channel for some reason, right?
Yeah, for some strange reason. Yeah, I mean, it's like the Everest for swimmers. What Everest is for mountaineering,
Okay.
the English channel is for swimmers. We always want to cross that piece of water between England and France. And so it had to be part of the seven continents. So
It makes any difference, the direction, France, England, England, France?
yeah,
or?
France, England is not allowed anymore. They used to allow it, and now the authorities are not happy with people jumping from their coast.
Okay.
So the only way is to swim from England to France, and then the moment you touch France, the boat takes you back to England. So
And the currents are the same, or is it makes any difference for you as a swimmer? Or not really?
I'm not sure. No, I don't think it makes a difference.
Why are you looking at him? He's the
He's giving me tips.
one who knows that.
Yeah, there are a few swimmers in the room, so no, I don't think it makes a difference. Basically, if you look at the trajectory, it pushes you eastwards, so it's not southwards or northwards, so it doesn't make a difference, basically.
Okay. So you did the English channel.
So I did the English channel, and the big lesson for me is that apart from the water being pretty cold, which is also like, at that time it was 14, 15, which is 60 Fahrenheit, there were a lot of jellyfishes, and we will talk later about plastic and what is plastic creating to the environment, but basically there is an invasion of jellyfish around the world, and I wasn't swimming for more than 15 minutes without seeing a jellyfish. And I swam for 11 hours. So you can imagine how many times I got stung by jellyfish. Many times. Especially on hour number 9, I think I got a big jellyfish to my neck and another one here to my back. I started swearing in Spanish. I don't know why we cannot swear in English when we
No, there's two things that you go back to your mother tongue always. Counting numbers and swearing. You have to insult, the best insult comes in your language. And you have to count your money, 1, 2, 3, doesn't work. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure that you got what you have to get. So you have the double.
Yeah, so yeah, I started to say the whole refranero español at that time, and
Were they beautiful, the jellyfish?
they were absolutely stunning. No, and the big lesson was at that point, you've been 9 hours in the water, in 15 Celsius water, so pretty cold, you're miserable, you're super tired, and a jellyfish comes to you, and you're like, well, I have 2 options right now. One is to give up and go to the boat. The other one is to keep going. Look at France and say, well, nobody's gonna get me out of the water. And that was a big lesson because sometimes in life you have these inconveniences and you have these problems along the way. And not because you have them, you gotta stop what you're doing and miss that target point that you have.
Okay. Resiliencia. Good. And now we have the Rambo in between.
So now it's Catalina Channel, which is a nice swim.
Where's that?
So hopefully.
Where's Catalina channel?
So Catalina Channel is a Catalina Island. It's an island that is off the California coast here in North America. Almost at the same distance as the English Channel. So it's 21 miles, so 35 kilometers. And basically, a boat takes you at 10 p.m. to the island off the coast in the middle of the Pacific, where you know that there are also sharks. And you have to start swimming during the night, just because of the winds that pick up during the afternoon. So basically, you are on your own without seeing anything at all. And they say, well, start swimming for 11 hours till you reach California.
How can you, just keep on track? I mean, how?
So there's a guy next to you that has the same light bulbs that I have in me. So you can see him, but there is not much reference beyond that.
Okay. And how is swimming at night? Has any advantage at all? Concentration, meditation?
Well, it's tough. It intimidates a lot. It's a mind game, to be honest. Especially when you're swimming. I was swimming for an hour and a half. It was midnight, and I got a bump in my right leg.
The guy who was paddling. You couldn't see them.
I'm not sure what it was, to be honest. I think.
No, he was the guy who was paddling.
To this day, I think it was a seal that got diverted and somehow bumped into me. But it's a mind game to continue swimming at midnight without seeing anything after your leg is hit by it.
Do your parents know that you do this kind of stuff?
They do.
When do you get out of the closet? When do you tell them?
Once I'm done.
How was it? How was the reaction?
Yeah, no, they get worried, and they always follow it, but these days it's easier with ignorance, so,
Yeah.
always happy about that.
So how far is the island, Catalina?
So that was 35 kilometers as well. So about 11 hours, out of which 8 of them were swimming in the dark.
I don't know much about Catalina Island besides the name. So is there people living in that island, or is
I don't think
it's a
there
park,
are.
or
I don't think there are people living there.
so people go to the beaches, or is it a private island, or?
Yeah, it's no, it's public, but people go paddling. Like my kayaker lives out of California, and he had been in Catalina just paddling. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. We're number 6 right now, Hong Kong. So
Six.
back to the origin. Back to
The origin.
the whole thing started for you.
Yeah, this was a special swim because first of all I had done it already.
Which year were you going? Did you go to Hong Kong?
I was living there 2011 to 13.
Okay, so you already was after the colony, after.
Yeah.
So you never knew the Hong Kong
No.
before. Okay. Now I was gonna ask you about Hong Kong because today Hong Kong is,
Yeah.
on the news and on our concerns, and I wonder how's your approach.
Yeah, I'm not sure what is going to happen, but I mean, the handover was in '97 and it was for 50 years. So they're supposed to be back in China in 2047. My sense is that it's going to be before that. But China wants the territory to remain fairly independent just because of the stock exchange and capital market, basically.
Okay. So swimming in Hong Kong.
Swimming in Hong Kong was really special. Again, I had done this race before. It was a 15-kilometer race. So in Asia, open water swimming is not as popular. So the longest races are about 15 kilometers. This was very special because I collaborate with an NGO that fights against plastic pollution, and they are based in Hong Kong. So I was there not only swimming, but spreading the word and awareness of fighting plastic pollution, which was a great endeavor. So I always.
You wanna talk about plastic now, or you wanna talk about plastic later?
We'll
finish this then. Okay.
So yeah, let's move to the 7th continent, which was Antarctica. So you guys ready?
There's always a confusion between Arctica and Antarctica. This one is in the south or in the north? Which one is this one?
Antarctica is South Pole.
South.
Vamos, Diego.
South Pole, okay.
So the water is 29 Fahrenheit, which is minus 1.4 at that point.
So the first impression when you get into the water, you don't feel like your heart is gonna explode?
Yeah. So the first impression.
I mean, I wouldn't take a shower without water. You just get in there.
Yeah, and you can see now the icebergs to my left. So plenty of icebergs, plenty of penguins swimming with us. So it was very extreme.
You're swimming with a float, right? With a yellow
Yeah,
float?
that's for safety, so that you are seen. As you can see, there's a huge snowstorm, so we couldn't see much. Actually, at the end of the picture, you can see the mothership.
So where are you going? You're going from the...
Yeah, to the mothership,
Okay.
which is barely a kilometer from the Zodiac. So that was the race, a kilometer from the Zodiac to the mothership.
It's good that you go to the mothership because you must feel like a Martian in there.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, it was a very extreme. And at that water temperature, your extremities become numb.
Really?
And you can barely feel yourself swimming. So you swim.
You felt like you would never have kids anymore?
Yes.
You wonder?
That was one of my main concerns. But yeah, nothing happened. Let's leave it there.
All is okay.
Okay, where's the lesson that you are showing? This?
And so that moment that you guys saw on the video, where they say, jump into the water and you are surrounded by snow and ice. You're actually not sure. I mean, there's a percentage of yourself that is not sure if you can make it. But I had put the hours training, not only the swimming, but the cold. So I had to trust in the process and in my abilities. So it was a big lesson. It's like when you're a kid and you're about to enter the exam and you're not sure that you know the lesson, and then everything flows. This was similar in the sense that I didn't know whether I was going to survive, but I did.
Okay. And now I'm seeing the picture of what you were describing in the interview that we had when I met you. You were about to go to, I believe, the Arctic. You were about to go to Russia.
That's right.
You were very excited about, maybe getting a world medal. You came out with one of them. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And you were describing something that I would have never imagined. It's somebody digging a swimming pool, an Olympic swimming pool, on a frozen lake.
Yeah, that's right. So once I was done with the continents, they said that they were going to host this world championship in Russia. Basically how it works is, in order to be competitive, you have to do it in a pool to test the same conditions for all the swimmers. So what they do is to go to a frozen lake, which is the one that you see, and they dig a hole of like 25 by 25, so that they make a pool where you can swim. It's a fresh water, so the water is actually 0, which is 32 Fahrenheit, and you swim there for like 2 days before it freezes again. So this is the video how they dig the pool, which is pretty telling. So that was Russia, and a lot of people ask me how we recover, because that was also a kilometer. And to give you guys an idea, it took me 14 minutes to swim the kilometer. And the temperature, which is something that I didn't say before, basically the temperature increases of your body increases before jumping into the water, because your body knows that it's going to be in an extreme situation. So you have a self-induced fever, and the body temperature increases from 36 to 38 Celsius. And then throughout those 14 minutes, it drops about 8 degrees. So I exited the water with my body at 30 Celsius, which obviously is hypothermia in the textbooks. And that you're put in a room with some helpers that put you some towels into your head, hot towels basically, and then you put your feet and your hands into a basin basically, and the cold water, the cold blood that I described before starts mixing with the hot blood, and this is actually the most dangerous part where you can actually feel the collapse. So they had a lot of volunteers in Russia helping us with the recovery. It took me around 1 hour to recover completely. After 1 hour, you have some nerve, you could have nerve damage, but basically you are recovered after 1 hour.
Yeah, I understand they cannot use the microwave because your eyes will pop, right? Otherwise the frost will be faster. So really, you get out of that swimming pool and you're all numb. I mean, how do you feel? Can you see? Can you think? Can you move? What's the story? They have to drag you out of the pool,
Yeah.
or you go like and get out?
Yeah, no, they have to drag you. Well, there's a there are small steps that you can climb. But basically, I was dragged out of the pool, and my wife held me throughout the way to the sauna and to the recovery room. The only thing I remember asking her is my time, because I was competing against other people. I just wanted to know how it went.
Oh wait, so you swim is one person timing? It's not like
No, but there are different heats. So you have to keep in mind the times that the people have before.
Okay. It's like a cycle.
So,
thing.
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So even if you reach first, there could be another one from another hit that could have beat you. So I was.
When did you know you were the number one?
So I was the number one in my category, and I knew that the moment I exited the water, because I asked how did it went, how did it go, and she said 14 and a half minutes, and I said, well, that's world champion.
Wow. You must have felt good. Well,
Yeah.
you actually felt really bad. So, what a combination.
That was a combination.
Welcome to life, man. Good and bad at the same time. Right? It's never perfect.
It's never easy.
Yeah. So you were there lying down with a bunch of Russians, giving you massage pretty much.
Yeah. Well, when I got into the sauna.
Is there a video of that?
Yeah, there's a video, but I won't share that.
Okay. I was gonna make a comment, but I just gonna refrain. And what was the? It's a medal. It's like a beautiful medal. What is it?
Yeah, it's pretty heavy. It's it's a yeah, no, it's.
And it's a big thing in Russia, or just happened to be in Russia, or the Russians actually love this?
Yeah,
stuff?
Russians love it. And to give you an example, Putin goes to the ice water whenever there's, I believe it's the Epiphany, which is the Orthodox.
Also, only with the bathing suit, no wetsuit, right?
That's right.
No
So
horse.
whenever Putin does something, the whole population follows. So
Okay.
it's very popular in Russia.
Okay, so you have a lot of people watching there.
Yeah.
Public.
Yeah. It was. I mean, we had
With the ice that they get from the pool, they do the bleachers. Pretty much.
It was easy to have drinks there. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was volcano ice everywhere.
Okay. Okay. Well, the 7 continents, 7 lessons. Beautiful story. And let's wrap this up before we
Yep.
get somebody to ask you a question if they want to. But I mean, let's go to the plastic and
Sure.
to your mission as a ocean ambassador right now.
Yeah, so I always say that we need a passion and a purpose in life, and the passion steers you towards your purpose. So for me, swimming has served me as a messenger of the duty of spreading the word about the plastic problem. So a lot of people think that plastic is a problem for 2 generations. And they cannot be more wrong. It's a problem for our generation. And I always show this picture that shows 2 things. This is in Cambodia, in the Mekong Delta, I believe it is, where there's a river that can be not navigated anymore because of the plastics. However, we did a test with this kid. We paid them to pick up the straws from the pollution. So if there is an incentive, the situation can be better. So this kid was navigating through the river looking for the straws, and if we did the same with larger staff that was there, I believe the situation would be better. So I think there is a huge problem, and the solution could be better. And I always talk about the broken window theory. So the broken window theory was actually in Brooklyn, in New York, when the delinquency and all these problems in the streets. And whenever it basically goes like, if you see a window that is perfectly clean, you will never think of getting a stone and hitting them first, right? Because it's clean and it's perfect, and you don't want to be that guy. If you get to a window that is like this, and there's a stone nearby, you will be quick to grab that stone and try to break it off. So the river is pretty much the same. If you see a river that is dirty and there's all things of plastic floating, it doesn't matter, right? You just add another glass of plastic to the water. But if you see a river that is clean, you will never be that guy that throws the first stone. So we did that experiment with the guys in Cambodia as well. So we paid them to clean that river. And actually they started feeling proud of what that river looked like. There were some flowers growing up. So again, working with incentives can be a good solution for a better situation. How bad is the problem right now? Well, this is the graph of plastic generation versus recovery from 1960. As you can see, the gap has increased a lot between the generation, what is produced and what is recycled, basically. And the problem is that the gap is so high now, and it's created so much plastic in the environment that it's hard to recover. And just to give you an idea, right now the plastic that is around the world would cover the whole of Japan and 10 meters deep. In a few years, it's going to cover Japan, plus Spain, plus New Zealand. So the whole combined surface covered by plastic 10 meters deep. So it's very worrying situation. I think we don't feel it yet. Our kids will definitely feel it, and it could, it could be a very serious problem in another few years.
Yeah, I was thinking when you were saying that about plastic, how important education is, because I had an experience with a crew who were filming on a dam site in the Philippines, and people were living in the dam site and working on the dam site, and everything was garbage. But we came from education that tells you that you don't drop anything on the ground. And even we were working on the garbage on the dam site, we're blowing our nose with a Kleenex and we're putting Kleenex in the pocket. We weren't dropping in the thing, and the whole thing was full of garbage. So, those incentives are good, but those incentives are related with education, and people will understand and appreciate it, and that's a long-term change. Anyways, hemos terminado aquí la presentación, está maravillosa, te queda un...
Almost there.
Okay.
Just to talk, a lot of people ask me about projects.
Okay. What's your new project? That's a favorite question for a journalist. And what's your new project?
So, it's twofold. One is on the warmer waters. So the Canary Islands, which is where I come from, have never been united swimming. Actually, 3 of the channels have never been swum before. And I would love to get to swim them if there is enough support from sponsors and institutions back home. So that is on warm waters.
That would be nice because you put some islands on the map that people don't even know they exist, right? You think of, from there, I understand what the islands are, but most people will think of the Canary Islands, so will name probably 2, right?
So,
maybe 3, but suddenly, surprise, there's more stuff over there, right?
Yep.
So that'll be nice.
Yep. So I'm working at the moment with institutions back home to try to put it in the map. And on colder waters, as you said before, Beijing 2022 is going to be the Winter Olympics. And we are working with the International Olympic Committee to make an Olympic sport in the Winter Olympics. So it's funny because the Winter Olympics designate any sport that is done on the ice, but this sport is not in the ice. So they're saying, well, it's not technically on the ice, so we're still working some...
Swimming on the rocks.
Swimming on the rocks. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Well, thank you so much, Diego. Muchas gracias. And before we have some signing on the books, or we have some drinks, there's beautiful wine from Spain and California, I see from here. Torrente Cuencanos, they're gonna give us tonight. Thank you very much, people who are hosting this event. I wonder if anybody has a question. We have maybe 10 minutes or so for a question. And okay.
Diego, congratulations, buddy.
Thanks.
Phenomenal, man. I'm interested, your first few slides, you mentioned about building your personal brand and flying solo. How do you intertwine flying solo, having your personal brand, with working within an environment and a team?
Yeah.
Right? So, in terms of identifying yourself, separating yourself, value, and taking that and putting it into an environment where you're working with other people.
Sure. Thank you, Maury. So I normally give talks to companies, and I normally say to create your own brand and fly solo. And some people have left the room saying, "Well, I'm out of here. I'm going to set up my own company." Say, no. Well, that's not the purpose of the talk. I think creating your personal brand can leverage a larger organization and a larger team. I believe that at the beginning of your career, it's very important to have a a good brand in your business card and that you can leverage over time. However, if you do build that personal brand and you don't need that logo anymore, just get rid of it and fly solo. That doesn't mean that you can keep the logo and keep working, but you need to be known for something, right? So people have to know you for something within your company, within your team. You have to be the guy of the, I don't know, exotic Japanese yen derivatives in the team. So people take the phone and call you if anything comes up to the desk. So I always say that it doesn't mean fly solo on your own. It just means to create your personal brand and be unique within the team that you're in.
Building a niche expertise.
Exactly. Exactly.
Who else wants to ask a question? There. I'll go here and there and then here.
Diego, I have a question for you. So, all of 2018, again, we sat in the same office, and you did all these superhuman feats. And then the next Monday, you would come in and sit next to people like us. So, did you feel like Clark Kent? Like, when you never showed up? Like, what was your feeling? Like, you never told us that you were doing all this. How did you feel?
Well, it's funny because it's sort of a taboo, right? Like, you know, when you have a personal hobby and you're in a professional environment, people look at you. I mean, if you say, "Oh, I swam the English Channel last weekend," say, "Well, weren't you working?" You know, it's like, well, you can actually do both. So I think it's a taboo that we are entertaining more and more. So people can have their personal hobbies. I think millennials are changing the workplace, and that we have to be aware that people have their needs outside the office too. So and some things that can give you more than just work at the office.
Can you pass the microphone to the well, people can pass it.
Yeah,
Is she going to ask the question or you are going to question?
yeah, I'm speaking for truly inspiring. Two quick questions. First is, how do you train for the cold swims? And the second question, actually from my wife, can we join you on the Island 7 tour, please?
Yeah, you're more than welcome. I need crew on the boat, but it's not easy. You can ask my wife how hard it is to be on the boat for so long. But going back to the first question, so you gotta train the pull, so you gotta train the meters on your shoulders. And just to give you an idea, 1 kilometer in ice waters is similar in effort to a 10-kilometer swim in warmer waters. So you gotta have your shoulders and your stamina and your fitness very well trained, but you have to train the core as well. So in the weekends I normally go to Brighton Beach in Brooklyn, where the water hits the 2 Celsius or 35 Fahrenheit in winter. And I train an increasing amount of time in the water swimming. So there's a club of polar bears there. They just go have a bath. I actually swim and I try to increase the distance and the time that I spend in the water every weekend day that I go.
The doctor.
Diego, congratulations on all this amazing story, very inspiring. I wanted to ask you about, since we're presenting a book, can you speak a little bit about how the book came to reality, since you had the idea of making your brand and exploring the continents and telling a story. But there's also a process of editing, finding a publishing house, and making it happen. So.
Yeah. So I've always enjoyed writing, and I guess this is something that I had in my mind. Some people pushed me and invited me to do it, and it was a great process actually. So to go down to your computer and start thinking of the things you did and why you did them, and try to find parallels with personal and professional life, which is what I do in the book. And that process was very enjoyable. As you say, the book industry is not easy. The book industry is there are more book writers in the room, but it's increasingly difficult to sell books and to make a life out of it. And that was not my aim, but it was difficult to deal with the publisher, with the editors, with the reviewers. But it was worth it at the end.
Do we have one last question?
Sure. Diego, as you know, we've swum many times together. And there are so
In
many.
cold waters.
And cold water and warm water, long distances, short distances, and you seem to make it shorter than it takes me to get there. My question is, I know in the really cold water, things shut down, so there's not a lot of thought there. So it's almost muscle memory that gets you through until the end, and then afterwards, it all kind of comes back to you, and how crazy, what was I doing, what was I thinking? But in the longer, normal conditions, we do come up against demons along the way. You know, you talked a little bit about the jellyfish, and you talked a little bit about the idea of other things swimming beneath you, like sharks and what have you. But there's also that pain threshold that you do reach in every long swim that you have to break between succumbing to it or continuing and being successful. Do you have a happy place you go, or does your body just reject the pain? Or how do you see yourself going through that threshold that we always come up against?
Sure. Thank you, Ed. So I think, so my happy place is numbers. This is what I do in the water. In the very long swims, I try to do hard calculations in my mind that keep me busy. And sometimes I do feed on the hour, basically. So sometimes it happens so quickly, and I'm so absorbed into my thoughts, into my calculations, that goes very quickly. The pain is always there. What I try to do also is to to make it like separate from other pains, right? So if I have a jellyfish coming to me, I try to isolate that pain and say, well, actually, it's a great day, the sun is shining, I have a great crew out here, and just a jellyfish is not going to stop me, right? So I try to separate my problems and say, well, everything else is great. Why would something like this stop me right now? I think where my threshold hasn't been tested yet is sleep. There's a lot of talk about, the 4-way English channel that Sarah just did. I think enduring 60 hours of no sleep during a swim is something that I couldn't do. I think I can do 24, probably 30 hours of no sleep and swimming in the meantime. But 60 hours, man, that's another level. So I think it can be trained, but pain itself doesn't bother me. I think sleep bothers me.
Is there a happy place you go? Do you find you're a happy swimmer at the end, or you?
I think you try to, so in the cold waters, I try to think of warm thoughts, remembering to be in Qatar and, 50 Celsius with the tie and suit, you're sweating non-stop. Let's remember that image and then, I'm sweating again, in the middle of Antarctica. But no, happy place is just numbers, I guess. Yeah.
Well, people, thank you so much for coming.